starters.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
How did this name Haas come to be?
I was interviewing for a position in Kansas City for a country station to do overnights, and the program director asked me. At that time I was working at a radio station in Newton and Grinnell, Iowa. Mm-hmm. Drive down to Kansas City, interview, and a lot of radio is very casual, but I rolled in my suit and tie and sat there and did the interview, and it went great. And he says, I really want to hear you on the air. I'm like, okay. And I said, is there any special name you want me to use? He looks at me and goes, there's just one name you need, Haas. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, and so I did a shift Sunday morning and went on the air as Haas and have been that since.
You didn't come up with it.
No.
It was just given to you.
Yeah. And it's interesting. When I left Kansas City, I worked there at that group of, I didn't get that job, but I ended up getting hired back a few years later. And the HR department had no idea that my real name was Jeff.
Yeah, you're Haas now.
My last day, I was there for about a dozen years. And the last day they came around and part of the HR policy was they would pay out any unused vacation days. Mm-hmm. And they came like, man, we got this check for a guy by the name of Jeff. We're not sure who that is. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've worked here for a dozen years. Do you really think my name is Haas? Like, well, that's you? I'm like, yes, that's me.
Hey, Haas is you now.
So, and it's stuck, and it's obviously I have the stature and size, but also it's easy to remember. Jeff's kind of forgettable. Let's be honest.
Is Haas kind of like a character, would you say, at some times?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your radio.
Is it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So initially, I read you were going to study accounting.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate,
at one point? What kind of drew you to radio? Like, what led you to pursue that as a career?
My cousin was he was on a baseball scholarship to Northwest Missouri State. I'm sorry, I know. It's the other school. Anyway, he was on a baseball scholarship to Northwest. I would go down and watch games on the weekends, and he was majoring in broadcasting. Mm-hmm. And so one of the days I went down, I said, can I go with you over I just wanted to see the building. Mm-hmm. And at that time, there was a public radio station in the building, a student-run radio station in the building, as well as a TV station that was all run by students. Yeah. And I was immediately bit by the bug. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And the thing that really drew me to it was the fact that at that school, I could get on the air as early as a sophomore year, which is crucial because there are some schools in the Big Ten, I won't say names, but you can't get on the air until you're upperclassmen. Yeah. And so I started off my sophomore year right off the bat and was kind of adopted. An upperclassman said, hey, do you want to do a morning show with me? I'm like, you want me? He goes, yeah.
What, were you freaking out?
Yeah, because I didn't know I had done zero radio, none.
You just were like thrown in the fire with
just thrown in the fire.
Whoa.
And I always have been a radio geek. I loved radio. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I would listen to my boombox at the time. I would love to listen to radio stations. Now, mind you, this is pre-streaming, before internet radio had ever kind of rolled around. But I would listen to stations like WLS out of Chicago. I would listen to KOA out of Denver, and I was always amazed by the fact that in real time in my house in Arlington, Nebraska, I could hear in real time that it was snowing and that there was an accident on, in Chicago that was causing a traffic delay at 10:30 at night.
Nothing to do with you.
Wow. Just the intimacy of radio is something I really enjoyed and kind of was drawn into. And so with that, I love music. I love all kinds of music. I've played jazz. I've played symphonic music. I've played marching band as far as that goes, but I love pop music. I love, just all kinds of music. And then I got into country music. Yeah. That was in several years ago. Yeah. And have been in country music since.
I mean, to kind of play off what you were just talking about, how personal, radio can kind of be versus like streaming music. Mm-hmm. Now you're in radio, you speak on air, you have all of these listeners. How do you build that connection?
I think first and foremost, I have to be who I am. I know some people can pull off being a character, whatever that may be to them. It may just be an amplification of their personalities. For me, I tend to be who I am talking with you now is who I am on the radio. And I think listeners pick up on that sincerity, the genuineness of things. And so, yeah, with me and my day part, I'm on from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. during the workday. They're not there to hear me chit-chat much. I share certain stuff about my life, but for the most part, I shut up and play the music, and move on, give them a chance to win some free cool stuff. And that's kind of what I do.
What would you say your favorite part about like connecting with listeners is? Is there anything that sticks out? What's your favorite?
There are times, there are certainly some, detractors that go, I don't like your music. I don't like you. Okay, that's fine. I get it. I don't like everybody that's on the radio either, and that's okay. But to me, the day in and day out aspect of what we do in radio, the connection part of it, it's the little things of getting someone backstage to meet an artist that they are pumped about. A few weeks ago, Tyler Hubbard was in town, and I just happened to be we were standing and ready to go backstage and say hi. And Tyler had invited us to come back, and I hear off just kind of out of my earshot, oh, that's Hoss from Cat 103.7, and there's Steve, and I was like, oh, there's some listeners, and there was a family of 4, 2 girls. And so I went up and introduced myself, and they're like, well, he's on during the day, and so on and so forth. And it just got this really good vibe from the family of 4. And I said, I was asking the girls, they're 8 and 10, Eleanor and Virginia. Eleanor's the 8-year-old, Virginia's 10. And I looked at the mom, I said, Tina, would you trust me with your kids? And she's like, yeah, what are you thinking, Hoss?
Should I not?
I said, let me borrow them and let me take them backstage to meet Tyler.
So cool.
I said, I can't bring the whole family back, but I know I can take the 2 of them back. I'll claim them as my own. And so she goes, the girls were like, yes.
Of course.
So little Eleanor and Virginia, they were my nieces that night. And they introduced themselves to Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line. That's my Uncle Hoss.
I love that.
So it's things like that. It's I think it's those special moments that I think stand out. I mean, I've had requests from people over the years of, hey, we're having my dad's funeral tomorrow at 11. Could you play whatever song it may be? And I try to make that happen because I figure if they're letting me be a part of such an intimate family moment, that is something to be cherished, that I think radio does such a great job. Playlists can't do that. You can certainly hear that song and pull it up. That's not a problem. You can hear it, but then when I intro and say, Tim and Sally, they're laying their dad to rest today, and this was a song that he loved, and just do a quick little setup, but maybe 15 seconds, but it's that kind of connection that I know I've heard from family members that have heard those things before. Like, man, Hoss, you sound like you were going to cry. I'm like, I am, because I felt the fact that they asked me to be a part of such an intimate thing with their family. I felt a part of that. And so I think that's something that always stands out.
Oh, yeah. Like, you're not a playlist. You're a real human being making the act to spread the joy. Yeah. That's very admirable. So talking about country music, because that's the station you work for, what would you say country music means to you personally after working with it for so long?
It has evolved and changed. It's music overall, whether it's country, whether it's top 40, rock, there's a pendulum that swings. And with country music, the pendulum tends to swing a lot from a more classic sound into a newer country sound. I mentioned Florida Georgia Line before. They kind of burst down the door, them, Luke Bryan, and a few others, of this bro country era. That's what some people call it. Very dirt roads and talking about tailgates and trucks and that sort of stuff, which, again, it connected.
There's so much more.
Yes. And that opens the door for others. Right now, I look at a lot of what's happening in the country format. I see a lot of rock influence, where you've got artists like Jelly Roll. You've got artists like Nate Smith that are out there. They have great songs on the radio, but for the most part, if I'm being completely honest, I think they probably would fit better on a rock station just because of their sound. But how the country music tent welcomes all, we can have that, but then we can also turn around and bring in new artists that sound very traditional. Zach Top is one of those guys right now who brings a very traditional sound to his music and to his live shows, and you're like, whoa, this guy's 20 what? And he sounds like he's from the 1990s.
Yeah.
He's got that Garth kind of feel to some of the music. So for me, I think the one thing that I think country music does very well is we tell a story and we connect. I think something like pop radio does, pop music connects to make you feel like I want to get up and groove. I want to go out party. I want to, I get it. And that's what I turn on as well.
Yeah.
But I think when there was some point in time that switch gets flipped of, man, I want to hear that song. I want to hear that guy talking about, his house that he lived at for 30 years. Or I want to hear, Carrie Underwood getting a little angry at an ex. So I think it's so encompassing right now that we tend to welcome a lot in the format.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety. It's a cool genre.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to say, and I also realize that the term country music, I think country radio, sometimes has a negative aspect to it. I was the same way. After I graduated from college, literally, I said, I will never, ever work at a country radio station. There's no way. You weren't a country music fan. No. And now, mind you, this was in the 90s boom era of Garth Brooks, George Strait, Alan Jackson. Country was massive. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Nothing.
And now I've been in the format for over 20-some years, and I love it. So
good. So you've been working in radio for over 20 years?
Yeah, it's been closer to 30.
Well, how do you keep that passion alive? Radio's changed. What's keeping you here?
I think for me, it is that connection I mentioned earlier to listeners. I still love music. That's the bottom line is people tune into us for the music. They also have a connection to our personalities that talk in between the songs. But I still love hearing new music. I love being exposed to new music. Now, some of it may not be my personal favorite. I'm like, that's okay. But there are others I'm like, wow, that's really good. And so I really look forward to searching out, trying to find what's going to be next. Certainly I've missed a lot. Would I've ever thought that Shabuzi in a bar song would have been number one at a country radio station? Never. But I found out that my listeners love it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I need to shut up and listen to my audience and what they want to hear, as opposed to me dictating that.
You hear a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. So I think I try to roll with those changes. Some I'm good at, some I'm not. Yeah.
You got to kind of adapt with it.
Yeah. But for the most part, I think it's still the connection to the music, and really connecting with those listeners on a daily basis when we can.
Yeah. I respect that. Cat 137, just named Radio Station of the Year by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association. Congrats.
Thank you.
What does working for a radio station with this title mean to you?
It was an honor, and I'm still trying to figure out who I write the check to, because I'm not sure how that all went down. But it was a very proud moment. Our staff, we work hard. We're in there every day, and to some listeners, they may not understand being in the studio every day all the time. Because of technology, we're allowed some flexibility of I need to be on a call, so I'm going to what we call voice tracking, so I can record it a little bit and stuff. I try not to do that very much. I try to stay in the studio as much as I can to have that connection. But I think for us to be able to have that kind of award and to receive other awards from whether it's the Country Music Association or the Academy of Country Music Awards, those are really special.
Yeah.
And also, last year we were nominated for a Crystal Award from the National Association of Broadcasters, which is for our community service. That one I'm probably a little more proud of, just because we try to really do a lot of outreach, a lot of community events, whether it's fundraisers for children's hospitals or collecting cards for veterans around Veterans Day. We tend to try to do a lot of hands-on things that I think are important. Mm-hmm. And I've always believed that radio stations are licensed to a community. It's a public license that we hold. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we have to serve that audience and those listeners. And I think doing that, I think first and foremost, yes, we play their music, but at the same time, I think we need to be there to help them in times of need, whether it's the storms that we had come through the Omaha metro area a couple years ago, to again, helping out a spaghetti feed fundraiser that's going to be coming up for a family that's racking up medical bills. We do all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So with that side of community outreach that you kind of do as a team with everyone, is there a particular project maybe that kind of sticks out to you and meant a lot to you personally?
There are a few, and I mentioned the Children's Radiothon for Children's Hospital here. Mm-hmm. They're certainly near and dear. We put a lot of hours and man hours and a lot of work into those. We interview families, and certainly there are other children's hospital charitable organizations out there. We tend to try to stay on the local aspect of it. We talk to those families. These are people that are in our same hometowns, down the street, in our brothers' schools. It's that sort of stuff that we can kind of connect with those families. Most recently, we rolled out 2 years ago. We called it the Day of 1,000 Thank Yous, in which we were asking listeners to donate thank you cards to area veterans. Wasn't sure how it was going to go, to be honest. Mm-hmm. It was the first thing we'd ever tried. I just thought it was something kind of neat to say thank you to veterans who I think sometimes are forgotten. And the first time we ended up with over 2,000, almost 3,000 cards right off the bat. And I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Whoa.
So last year we pushed it to the Day of 5,000 Thank Yous. We changed the title of it.
Yeah.
And we ended up with almost 7,000.
That's insane.
I mean, we're talking, grade school classrooms to scout troops to offices.
It was just everyone.
And in fact, I've already, for this upcoming event coming up in November, we've already received over 100 thank you notes from a family in Florida. They used to live here 15 years ago and listen to the radio station. They listen to us on the iHeartRadio app, mm-hmm. and they heard about it. So every year they just, year round, they make these little thank you notes.
That's amazing.
And I've already mailed them to me. And, to see that kind of connection with a listener. And then the payoff is to take those thank you cards and go over to the VA hospital mm-hmm. here in Omaha, or we also head down to Offutt Air Force Base to the Family Readiness Center to hand those cards in, put them physically into mm-hmm. a veteran's hand is pretty special. I know last year we had she was stationed at Offutt. I believe she was from South Africa. Yep. And somehow, and she goes, Hoss, I have no idea. All of a sudden they said, you're going to be stationed at Offutt Air Force Base outside of Omaha. She's like,
surprise.
Where's Omaha?
Yeah.
She, again, from South Africa.
That would be intense.
And now she's here. Mm-hmm. And to watch her, we gave her a handful of cards from kids. She sat there and read every one of them. And the tears.
Yeah.
She goes, they don't know me, but they feel like they do. Mm-hmm. And so that's something for me I think will always stick out.
That personal contribution.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You do a ton of stuff. What would you say your current role is at CAP?
It's I wear a lot of different hats. Yeah. I mean the title. Yeah, I think we all do. Is in this technology age, we certainly are adapting and modifying new bullet points on our resume, so to speak, from I certainly, work with the talent. We go over air checks to try to get better of, hey, let's try this next time. Let's stay away from that. So we do a lot of that. I mentioned the music before. I listen to a lot of music to see what's going to be good for our playlist. I try not to follow too much of the charts because there are some things that I just know work better for us here in Omaha. I know one of our favorites, Cody Johnson and Justin Moore. That type of sound I know works well for us. So there's a lot of music aspect that I work with our record label partners to try to see what's going to be best on my playlist. But now there's, the evolution of social media, that aspect of it. I need to step up my game and be a little bit more visible and a little better on social media than what I have in the past. And it's something for me. It's like I put it to the back burner just because I've got too many other things to focus on. But I realize at the same time, that's where a lot of my listeners are living at now. They're living on their Instagram, their Facebook, and that sort of stuff. So I need to adapt. It's like, okay, I need to put together a reel. I need to get, am I going to post this as a story on Instagram? I'm going to,
there's a lot to it.
There's just a lot to it. And don't even get me started on TikTok. So, but there's a lot of that now that's just now a part of what we do.
Yeah.
There's the coordination, of looking at our calendar as far as, what kind of, where are we going to be at for sales and client events? Are we going to be out at what we call a remote broadcast? Is that going to work for the time? Is this going to work? So we have to schedule people to be there, and who's going to take the van? You taking the van and the table? Great. You do that. I'll be there early. Salesperson, are you going to be there? What are my copy points? What are we talking about when we get there? So there's a lot of that coordination that goes into it. I do have a lot of bosses up above that love to weigh in on what they think should be my priorities. I oversee the two country radio stations that we have in our building. There's Cat 103.7. There's also 93.3 The Wolf, which is a classic country station. So I oversee that. I also oversee a country station in Davenport, Iowa, as well as a country station in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Whoa.
And I still want to go to Albuquerque. Everybody's like, have you been? I'm like, no, I want to go. I want to go for the balloon festival.
Makes two of us.
But yeah, so there was a lot of that. And so I have to work with those teams as well to make sure that we're firing on all cylinders where we need to be.
You do a ton.
So yeah, it's okay.
Loaded resume.
That's right.
So kind of looking at student-run stations, we've got Wear Black, Give Back coming up. It's a 24-hour fundraising event. People are able to donate to the student org of their choice. MavRadio is one of them that people have the opportunity to donate to.
Should be top of the list.
I agree. What role do you think college radio plays in giving a platform to new voices?
I'll tell you, it is so important. I can't stress the amount of importance that college radio plays in the college experience. I mean, I mentioned early on that I was able to get on the college station when I was a sophomore and in college and was able to work through different aspects. I mean, I worked in the news department. I actually sold ads for a while, which as a college student was kind of weird to go out and try to sell commercials to businesses and then be like, who are you? No. to have that kind of rejection is like, oh man, that kind of hurts the ego. But and I was able to get into management of the station, and we at the time we won a Marconi Award for college broadcasters, which is pretty cool. I'm very proud of that to this day because it is a team effort, and the college radio aspect of it was so much fun. We had a blast. I mean, we would broadcast 24 hours a day. We did that. I think we tried to do for 3 days in a row. There was a group of us that tried to go nonstop with no sleep, which after a while, it's a bunch of giggling people. Like like you looked at me funny and then we laugh for like 8 minutes on the radio. And then anybody that tunes in, like, what are they laughing at? Are they just high? What's going on? It's like, no, we were just sleep deprived.
Yeah. But that's a lot. Yeah. Holy moly.
But we did that for the local food bank at the time. And we were very proud of that. I mean, we certainly got into trouble as well. As a student radio station, when the first Batman movie came out, we tried to put the bat signal actually on the admin building. They have a bunch of spotlights out in front. It went up in flames because the lights were a little too warm, but got in trouble for
you have stories to tell.
Eek. But no, college radio is, I think that's where you kind of get to find your groove of what is it that 100%. You love. It could be maybe that you're more of a behind the microphone, behind the scenes kind of person. Like I love, setting up promotions or of doing all those logistic things to make sure that everything gets done. Those are needed. I mean, and I could see that even, especially in college, because we had a promotion staff, we had a production staff. Like, okay, who's cutting the commercials? Who's doing this? And who's, how's it getting in the studio? And who's doing the music logs? And who's all of that aspect? We did all of that. Mm-hmm. And, and also through college, I was able then to also anchor news on our public radio station. And one of this will be kind of a side note for you, but I was anchoring the is it All Things Considered? I think that's the afternoon on public radio, I think. Anyway, at the first Gulf War, when that broke out, I was the lead newscaster, and I'm in my news booth reading, and the guy that was running the board, Mike was his name. And he would always try to get me to laugh during my newscast, try to, break me up. There would be, his pants would fall down or whatever it may be. Yeah. And so I see him jumping up and down out of the corner of my eye, and like he's trying to get me to do something. I'm not looking, I'm not falling for it. So I'm going to continue to read my news story. And I ran, I had an actuality of the mayor. So I hit the audio for the mayor, and I turn and look. And he put up a piece of paper in the window that says, "We're going to war. Announce it now. Copies under the door." And I'm like, whoa. And so I was on the air when the first Gulf War, when the tanks first started rolling into Iraq. I was able to be on the air and give that kind of description and play-by-play until National Public Radio took over. So it was cool, and I wouldn't have had that experience if I wouldn't have had college radio.
You're the only person that can say that. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. It
also goes to show how old I am, but but it's just I think it is so vitally important because yes, there's music that you guys do that no one else does, and there's certain programs that you guys do that no one else does. But I also understand that you have a great staff that supports you. Mm-hmm. The instruction that goes on here at this college is top notch. I see it. Yeah. Trust me, I know it. I've seen other institutions, and it's nothing of what UNO has. UNO has such a great footprint to help build for the future, and it's because of MavRadio.
As someone who's in it, I 100% agree with that statement. So We're Black Give Back. It's a donation-based thing, working with money. Why do you believe that it's valuable for listeners and alumni to actually invest in this student-run media?
Well, I think that there's the aspect of it's a fresh take. It's different. You guys college students tend to have a view that I may not understand and see at my age, but you're going to look at things a little differently. And to me, I think that those kind of aspects need to be brought out more and be, they need to be pumped up. They need to be out there. And I think it is crucial for the donation to be there from alumni and from the general public really to invest in it, because, the next big sports broadcaster could be coming from right here. Mm-hmm. I mean, there have been some amazing talent that have come through that have gone on to do some national sports things that I've seen. I'm go, that girl, she's got it. She has it. Mm-hmm. You can see it. And that all starts here. Yeah. And that's where you find out your groove of, you know what, I kind of like that. I can do that. But you can't do that if you don't have that kind of support. No. And if I'm talking to more alumni, let's be honest, it's a tax break. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Nobody's gonna come after you. Just write the check. Let's get this done. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Very good. You got it there somewhere.
Sometimes you have to talk to their pocketbook.
Appeal to your audiences, 100%.
Sometimes you have to talk to their pocketbook.
Yeah. No. MavRadio is amazing. I definitely would say that if I were to never become a part of it, I wouldn't. Who knows what I'd be doing?
What is your favorite thing about being on MavRadio?
The team and the opportunities, being able to do stuff like this, connecting with people, learning about your interests and what you do, why you do what you do, why you like doing what, like everything about it. I like talking to people. It's kind of my jam. I like it. I got into it for the music, 100%.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite kind
of music?
Yeah. Do you have one, or do you like to listen to lots of stuff?
I like rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm a rock fan. I like the oldies.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I went to sleep listening to 99.9 KGUR from the age of like 6 to like 10. My sister and I shared a room, and we had like a radio in our room, and our parents would turn that on. Yeah.
So are you cranking up like Guns N' Roses, AC/DC? What do you got?
More of like the all rock-ish stuff. Okay. I really like Pink Floyd. I'm kind of all over the place. I love some Beastie Boys, like older stuff, Fugazi.
Yes.
Kinda, yeah.
Can't go wrong with some Beastie Boys.
I was raised right with the music in my household.
That's great though.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I started. I like working with people and working with music and people my age with like-minded stuff. It was a great place to meet people who like the same thing that I do, and it's been amazing, and I've learned a lot and gotten so much on-hand experience.
Yeah.
So hands-on.
Well, and I think that the music industry certainly has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. Just because of the streaming aspect of it, and I think radio. We're tending to kind of be in this battle right now of there are certain artists that stream unbelievably well, and which helps make the record companies money, and that's what they're in it for. Yep. So therefore, their priorities are something that helps make them money, which completely understand. But there are also artists out there that may not stream as well as maybe somebody that's shiny and new out there, mm-hmm. But still are radio friendly audiences, and so I think there's that aspect, there's that push and pull right now between the both sides. So sometimes I think there has to be a happy medium there between all aspects of the radio and music world, but it's fascinating at the same time. Yeah. I mean, we've had interns that have come through that have gone on to work at the Today Show.
Wow.
And matter of fact, she still lives in New York City. She stayed there. And,
that's so cool.
I believe she's now working, for Pandora, And, we chat all the time. She's like, hey, have you heard this artist? Have you heard this artist yet? Like, this one's maybe coming up, So we still, chat on the side about, some of that stuff, which I love hearing.
Keeps you in the loop.
Absolutely. And so I think that's good.
Amazing.
But I definitely think that getting your foundation here at MavRadio will open up those kind of doors and those possibilities for you, no matter where it is that you decide, whatever it's going to be. I mean, your options here at MavRadio are truly endless. If you're willing to do the work, there will be something there for you.
Yes, there's so much to it. We've got social media stuff. We've got the actual on-air speaking, the production side of it. There's so much.
Yeah.
And if you don't know much about it, I definitely recommend reaching out and learning more. We would love to take whoever's interested and wants to learn more.
Come on.
Yeah. Also, you set me up quite literally perfect for this final question. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. This has been amazing. Talking about how much radio and audio storytelling has changed throughout time, what advice would you give to students with adapting to these changes and kind of pursuing this as a career?
Well, I think, the explosion of podcasting certainly has been something that, a lot of radio people figured out early, and some just didn't get it. It was very hit and miss for several people. So I think that aspect of it is something that I think is still going to be continued to be on the forefront for a lot of people, because it gives you the chance to actually sit and talk. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of times right now with commercial radio, you've got limited ability of time, usually. And with that, you have sponsors that are involved, and so there's many things you have to kind of think about. And the podcasting world kind of opens up some of those doors of, okay, it's you and I, let's just have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. If it ends up being an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's that long. It's
go
fine.
with the flow, truly.
Whatever that topic may be and wherever the rivers, wherever the tributaries go is fine. So I think that aspect of it is certainly important as we move forward. It seems like a lot of people love to say, oh, commercial radio, nobody listens to it. I can tell you for a fact that radio continues to change, and we tend to roll with those changes as best we can. But I still think that there is that personal connection that you cannot get from a playlist. Mm-hmm. You may be able to hear some of that on a podcast, but to be able to have that on the radio with some of your favorite music is something that can't be touched. Mm-hmm. Music truly can be therapy. I've seen it work. It's done wonders for me when I've gone through a tough time where there was a certain playlist that's what I was listening to, and it would pull me out of that funk and get me back to where I needed to be. And so I think the importance of college radio and just the experience overall is crucial to making sure that the next wave is ready to go. And who knows where that may be. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about AI. Mm-hmm. Are they using AI voices? Are they not? Are those real people? And it's shocking to see some of the technology of just how fast that has 100%. Evolved.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's a little scary. It's like, whoa.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I watched a TikTok video earlier today. A kid built an online receptionist for a barber, did it in less than 30 seconds, and listening to the AI respond as the receptionist, I wouldn't have known.
Really?
That she was a bot. No clue. She sounded so very natural, had ums and well, let me check on that for you. Oh, yeah, our first appointment's at 7:30 tonight.
Just like talking about
I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
That's creepy.
So, I know some companies in radio have tried using AI. I don't know that they've had a great big success to it. I did talk with a gentleman. They used it. I can't remember. I think it was up around in the Michigan area. They tried it. It was AI Ashley. They had Ashley say a bunch of different phrases so that way, the program could kind of learn how she spoke. The program director could sit in his office, type the script, and have the AI Ashley say it back and on the air in less than 30 seconds. Scary.
I'm learning so much in this conversation.
And what was interesting was they tried it for 2 years, and they found that it was not a win or a loss. It was kind of flat. Like,
really? So
to me then, if it's not an outstanding win of, oh my gosh, then
what's the point?
Invest in the human. That's at least my 2 cents. And that's what they did. They after they realized there wasn't a slam dunk win, they decided to step away from it and go back to using real Ashley all the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, AI, it's super interesting because I think it can be a great tool.
Sure.
Not a replacement.
Correct.
So that's kind of the key with working with it. And just having the knowledge of kind of the power it can have and just being smart with it and responsible.
Yep. So, but again, I think that goes back to, when we're in the studio, we're there to, maybe we don't get as many phone calls as we used to just because people just don't like to, chat on the phone as much. Yeah. But they'll shoot me a text message. Our app also allows what we call a talkback message in which they can record a message right on the app. It comes to me in real time right in the studio. It's like leaving a voicemail.
Oh, wow.
They can tell me, hey, I'm camping outside of Carter Lake and I would love to hear this song. And I'm like, wow, that's, again, it's that intimacy of knowing.
Yeah, you keep up with those?
Oh, all the time.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
I listen to those. Every one of those that come through our building, I take a listen to, whether it's for my station or for others.
Yeah.
And because I think, again, that's that connection. It's where people are living. They're living on their phones. We need to be there as well. Mm-hmm. And how can we live best to better their lives?
Radio leads to that connection.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I got nothing else, Haas Michaels.
Thank you for
taking the time.
That's it. Right.
You got anything else to add?
Well, you've got a lot of editing to do because
40 minutes later.
I'm so sorry.
I like talking. This is amazing, though. Yeah, I really appreciate you. Yeah.
Happy to be here and appreciate the opportunity. And
donate to MavRadio. Wear black, give back.
Absolutely, MavRadio. Where are we going to donate? Where do they got to go? Do we have that up yet?
Is it Giving Day? Jodine, can you confirm that? Giving Day / MavRadio? Pretty sure. We'll put that link in our bio. Don't you guys worry.
Just get it done.
Get it done. You can start donating now until October 9th at noon. So
lock in it. Seriously, it is worth every penny, whether it's $5 or if you want to give 500. You know what? I bet
we'll take what you got.
You know what? I bet there's somebody out there's got $5,000.
There's got to be someone.
Katie, we got to find him. You and I will find him for MavRadio.
After this?
Let's go.
Okay,
we're gonna go start knocking on some doors. And we're going to go find this $5,000. Sim's going to write you
$5,000.
$5,000.
Or are we just tapping at a $5,000?
Oh, we can go higher. I'm just saying that's just one donation.
Okay.
We got to let some of these others on MavRadio. They're gonna want to feel a part of it.
We're
so we'll let
ease
them.
Our way into it.
That's right.
Okay. I'm there. Yay! No, this is amazing. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
God, this is so long.